Hi everyone, it's TanyaMFK here with your 52 Weeks of Momentum lesson recap. We are now in week 34. If this is your first time, welcome. I am Tanya Marie Figueres-Greisinger, more easily known as TanyaMFK. I am a member of Benjamin Hardy's 52 Weeks of Momentum group, and I come here every week to just talk about what I'm learning, what I'm taking from the course, and sharing it with all of you. This is in no way a substitute for the actual course. Clearly, I'm not Benjamin Hardy, and I'm not offering all the amazing stuff that he is offering. I am simply showing up, sharing my experience, and offering you a chance to tag along with me. So hope you enjoy this, and then make sure to sign up next year, like with actual Benjamin Hardy, because it's super awesome and totally worth it. All right, so as we are moving into our lesson for this week, it's a real quick one, real simple, and it's really kind of time for us to get back to our roots, right? And in different ways, it's time for us to dust off the roots, right? So if you've been following along, and if you haven't, go back and check some stuff out. There's only, like 33 other videos. But if you have, you haven't, whatever. We have talked a lot about visualization in the group. And this is from the very, very beginning. As we started to develop our morning routines, as we started to develop not just morning routines that you'll read about, like, CEO does this, and this is when they check their email, and they're really great. Now, those are absolutely amazing for business. We talk about a lot of this in my TanyaMFK group, but also just for our own development and our own mind frame. The morning routines have just been key in really helping us become who we want to be every single day. And one of the things that has been key, as I mentioned, was journaling. And there's a lot of resistance with different people, different places, different experience, but time and time out, it has really proved to be extremely beneficial. Something you just have to kind of keep at. And through that visualization, one of the things that we were encouraged to do in the beginning was, did I say visualization? One of those things in the journaling that we were encouraged to do was visualization. And it really came as like, think about, one thing to say like, this is what I want for the day, this is how I feel, these are my goals, but to really visualize it happening, visualize yourself like doing it, going through this. I shared that this was something I used to do actually just to get myself to file. I used to always end up with piles of papers that I needed to file, like at home. I had a home office as well. So I would have a stack, and I always kind of put it off, and I'd always look and be like, oh my gosh, I need to file these stupid papers. And I would tell myself, I'd set a goal, this is when I'm going to do it. And I'm a very organized person. And so I would know it, and I'd get to that day, and I would just not want to do it. I just didn't want to do it. It was usually a Saturday morning I would choose. And I'd be like, well, I don't really do anything Saturday morning. But all of a sudden, when that Saturday morning came, I was very inspired to do everything except file. So what actually ended up helping me was when I would set up, when I was going to do it, I would visualize myself filing. I would visualize how beautiful the day might be outside. I would visualize my morning, getting coffee, making coffee, turning on my music, whatever, and just getting it over with. And when I was able to do that, I felt like, at least in my experience, it was kind of like when I ended up at that point to actually have to file, it wasn't so hard because it was actually like the second time I was doing it. Like I'd already been there. I already knew it wasn't so bad, even though I hadn't done it. And it really helped, right? It really made a difference. So this visualization was huge. But one of the things that was mentioned, and it was mentioned really quickly, but it's really being brought up a lot deeper now because of us reading the Joe Dispenza's Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, is talking about the emotional connection that happens within visualization. Right? So the emotional connection that happens within visualization. So again, let's put this at something real tangible. Definitely one of my goals this year has been weight loss. And I can visualize myself, working out or losing that weight, and, it looks nice, whatever that is. But when I can take it a step further and feel within my visualization, feel what that would feel like, and like, oh, that feels so nice to like wake up and not be like, oh, which thing fits or feels right, or, oh, I can't wear that because I don't like the way my arms look, or whatever, right? When you can wake up and be like, yeah, I'll wear that because it fits and I can wear that. Like that, again, it's my world. it feels really good. Oh my gosh, that would feel so good. And like getting ready a lot quicker because you're not like trying on 5 outfits to see what feels right. That emotional connection for me is huge, right? In that situation. Now, bringing that to anything you can have, whether it's paying off your house, or it could be a business goal, right? Something where you're like, gosh, when that website is done, I would just have such a relief. And you can visualize it, right? One thing is visualizing it and like picturing the website and like, shaking your web developer's hand, whatever that is, giving them a big hug. Oh my God, I love you. You could visualize those things. But to take it a step further and be like, how would that feel? Like perhaps that's something that's just been sitting on your shoulders and you're like, I would feel so relieved. I would know I just move forward with these things. My business would feel like it's at a certain level. Feel that, right? Feel that. Feel that. And what will happen is the brain makes a connection to that emotion. The brain makes a connection to that emotion and it wants more of it. And your subconscious, here's the thing, right? We've been talking about the last lesson, right? Week 33, we talked about your body being your subconscious. And your subconscious is, and again, if this is all like kind of new and you're like, whoa, what you talking about? It's foofy stuff. We talk about this a lot in the very first few weeks of this. So you can go back and check that out. We talk about training your subconscious, the subconscious, it's all of it, that it's not kind of this foofy, thing. It's a very scientific thing. So you can go and learn about this. But our subconscious doesn't make a delineation between reality and not non-reality. It doesn't make a difference, right? So easiest way is if something spooks you out, your body, your heart beating, all of those things react the same way as if there's actually something there to be spooked out about, or you just got spooked out for no reason. Like refrigerator made a noise. You're like, oh my gosh, someone's coming to kill me, right? Like I'm so morbid. I'm sorry. That your body feels the same. Your subconscious gets the same experience one way or the other, right? So that doesn't make a difference to it. So if you are able to create those situations, if you are able to feel these situations, these positive things, these great emotional connections to experiences or life that you are desiring, your subconscious is like, yeah, wasn't that nice? Remember that one time when you like wore whatever you wanted in your closet? And I'm like, oh my God, I do. I want to do that again. And we have this extra push to move us towards that, to keep moving towards that, right? It's just this extra oomph besides just kind of a hope and a wish, and even visualization, which is really a great step, right? That is an amazing step to move towards your goals. But when we can even go further and create this emotional connection, it's like, oh, like huge. Like you'll feel it. Oh, I think I've had too much coffee. So let me see because I have not even checked my notes here at all today, guys. But let's see what we're thinking. We're allowing to feel it. We talked about that. We created an emotional connection to the thing we're trying to achieve. Memories are how we see the world. And Stephen Covey says, we don't see the world for what it is. We see it the way we've been conditioned to see it, right? So, and that can be because of what we've been raised in, through other people's eyes, or the way we've seen things, right? Like, you kind of have that negative kind of view, like, people suck or they can't be trusted, or everybody on the road's an idiot, right? I come from LA, right? So we're always yelling about traffic. And so if that's the way we see the world, then we've been conditioned to do that, right? So we don't actually, is everyone in their car actually a jerk? No, they're not, but they are if that's the way that we are going to see it, because that's the way we've been conditioned, or we've conditioned ourselves to see it, right? I'll do a side story really quick on this one. As I've mentioned probably too often, that, my husband passed away from cancer when I was 25, and when we were going through the different situations with him, one of the things that happened a lot was ascites, which is something where your body fills up with fluid and it can affect your lungs and your breathing. And it was unfortunately just a common thing that was going to happen as he went through palliative care. And so too often we had to actually rush to the hospital to go get it taken care of. And it was a very uncomfortable ride for him. It was very sensitive to all of the things. And so we would be, again, we're in Southern California, traffic is always a mess. And of course, this didn't choose to happen, at non-traffic time. So we were always dealing with some sort of stuff. And there would just be, people on the road being people on the road and cutting you off or just not letting you get over because, oh, you're not going to be a single car in front of me. Like, that's not happening. All the while not having any idea of what was really going on in our car, what was really going on in our vehicle, and how tough it was to slam on the brakes or to not be able to make that light for the hospital, right? Like, they had no idea. And it was tough. It was really tough. And from that, it changed my whole view when I'm on the road, right? It's easy. I feel like it's easy for us to say that, we can try to say that as we're bettering ourselves. Like, you don't know what other people are going through. But when I went through it and I was like, I had that realization, they really don't know. You don't. And like, that person's need or reason could be because they're being a jerk and selfish, or could be there's a whole different thing going on. And it's not your place to try to understand it, right? So my point is, we're conditioned to see it a certain way until we're not, right? I was conditioned to be in that same, like, everyone's a jerk. Again, I'm from LA, it's California. Everyone on the road is a total jerk until they're not, until I saw it differently. So again, that was kind of a side note. But think about that, because I felt that was a big change in my attitude, my life, just in and a commute in California. That's a big thing. That's a huge part of your life. Sadly, we don't have public transportation. That is we do, but it's very sad. It's a big part of your life. So that was a big condition, a big experience to have that changed a lot of my life, my thinking, all of those things. So, anyway, so if you forgot what we're talking about, I'm going to say it one more time. It was Stephen Covey says, we don't see the world for what it is. We see it the way we've been conditioned to see it. So our subconscious, I always said, we doesn't know the difference, fear or not. When we visualize and experience the feeling of reaching our goals, our bodies, the subconscious experiences it the same, will create that emotional connection. So we talked about this before, which is the be, do, have. When we often think we have to have something first in order to do the thing, and then we will be that person. And we've been learning through this entire course that it's the absolute opposite. We need to be that person, embody that person, that thing that attracts these goals. I mean, it's very abstract when we're all wanting different things, right? You do the things that person would do, this a successful person would do, then you will have that success. Jim Rohn says, success isn't something that you go after. It's something that is attracted by who you become. Right. And I think that just really sums it up right there. It's one of my favorite quotes. Jim Rohn, I don't know actually that I have a favorite quote. I think I love everything that guy says. But be, do, have. That's the big thing there. So another thing that he talks about for this lesson was projecting future gratitude, which goes on this same idea, right, of this visualization. But it's just another little kind of variation of not only feeling that emotional connection, but being grateful for it. Like, wow, isn't that awesome? Like that this has happened, even though it hasn't happened. Like you live in this state of gratitude for the future, for what is going to happen, for what you're going to attract. I think it's kind of obvious, like all the benefits that can bring into your life. So I love that, projecting future gratitude. We really, when we do that, we're rewiring our brain. Like it's amazing. Gosh, it's so amazing. So as we look back on our routines, setting the mind frame, doing these things, like I said, that's kind of the dusting off the old roots, because this is really what we talked about in the beginning. We're just kind of a reminder or a refresher and digging a little deeper into that. So if you've lost that momentum, if you kind of maybe got stuck into a routine, we talked last week about doing new things, having new experiences. So this may be the time to revisit this and shake it up again. I think we did that 4 months in. So maybe it's very fitting that 4 months later, here we are to kind of check that again, see that we are really bringing this experience to be the most that it can be and benefit us the most that it can, trying something new perhaps. So do that. Step into this visualization process. Try this emotional connection thing. It really starts to come naturally. You just have to think about it. You're just in the moment visualization, and then you have to think like, how does that feel? And then you're like, it feels pretty darn good. It feels amazing. Or maybe it's scary. Whatever that is, figure out. Well, hopefully it's not scary, but if it is, then at least deal with it. You can look at that and like move on, because we want that emotional connection to hopefully be something that's motivating, right? So let's see what we have here. Also, go and make sure that you are sticking with your weekly planning. We talked about that a few weeks ago, that is something that we're coming back into as a group is, looking at our week, focusing on what our plans are. I used to do a thing in our group called Sunsetters, which was every Sunday to really set your goals and look at the week, know what your priorities are, see, where you were last week, what you want to change, come into the next week, see not just your priorities, but also see what some of the roadblocks could be or the pitfalls and anticipate them and see what you're going to do instead. If you're trying to not eat donuts next week and you spend half your day in a donut shop, you're like, well, I should really maybe put a plan in place to not get donuts when I'm at the donut shop because I know I'm going to be there. Like that sounds like a big roadblock and sounds like a big stumbling block to get you to eat donuts if you're hanging out in donut shop. So again, maybe, you take some conscious effort before that week starts to say like, how will I make that easy? How will I change that? Maybe you have really dark sunglasses. I don't know. Maybe reschedule your meetings or whatever it is out of the donut shop. Just a thought. But the point is anticipate those instead of just going like, oh my gosh, here it is again. Think about it, because then again, just like I talked about with my filing story, when you come to it, it won't be the first time you've experienced it. You're going to be even stronger because you've already kind of thought about it and experienced it over here. So this planning, also the weekly reflections, those are all hugely important. And as I've said so many times, we're here to live a life by design. We're here to live intentionally, not by default. So I hope this lesson was helpful for you, inspiring for you. And if you enjoy hanging out like this, enjoy my rambling, then thank you so much. And click that subscribe button so you'll be notified when the next lesson is up. If you are trying to build a business and build yourself all together, then definitely follow me at TanyaMFK on Facebook and Instagram. That's what I do. That's what I'm about. We take these concepts, we put them into business, and then we also do a bunch of skill building as well. So we're like amazing entrepreneurs. So definitely follow me there and have a wonderful week. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.